Hey! Today I'm going to show you something that I have been looking very forward to demonstrate. It will be especially useful for 3D clothing creators and clothing texture artists, but also for content creators who make fabric merchant resources. I'm going to show which solution I came up with to tackle my creative problem. The goal is to make a seamless flower pattern without actually drawing the flowers. I went to the florist and bought some beautiful single flowers. And if you have a garden with flowers, you can skip that step to buy, of course. And for every flower, I did a photo shoot and captured all aesthetic angles. Note that the background is irrelevant because we only need the flower itself. Don't try to use depth of field to make artistic photos. The flower just needs to be sharp in focus. I select 5 or 6 photographs of one flower and I start with cutting the flower from the background, so I'm left with a transparent background. Open a photograph in Photoshop and select the quick selection tool and select the flower. You can clean up the border a bit and contract and feather the selection. With the selection active, press Ctrl J so that you get a layer with the rose on a transparent background. Do this with all the photographs you would like in your seamless style. I find it handy to collect the flowers in one layered PSD file. Now open a new file, make it 1024 by 1024 pixels. Drag and drop one rose into the new file. Scale the rose with Ctrl T if necessary. With Ctrl A and with the Move tool selected, align the flower to the center. And deselect again. Select the rose and background layers and press Shift, Ctrl, Alt, E to gather all visible layers into one separate layer. Go to the menu, Filter, Other, Offset, and make sure the horizontal and vertical value is on 512 pixels and press OK. And now drag several of the other flowers into the empty space and scale, rotate, and position them. Now select all the rose layers and press again Shift, Ctrl, Alt, E to gather all visible layers into one separate layer. Make a copy of the layer with Ctrl J and set the rest of the layers invisible. Go to the menu, Filter, Other, Offset, and use Offset several times to check if the tile still is seamless. With the magic wand, select the white background and remove, so you have the transparent surrounding. Save this seamless style as a PNG file. Now the fun part starts. Open up the PNG tile and make a copy of the layer with Ctrl J. Go to the menu, Filter, and select Filterforge. I have made a filter especially for this demonstration. I will play with the filter sliders until I get an effect I like. It is very important to check the seamless styling checkbox. Otherwise you will break the tiling. Once you like the result, press Apply and wait for Filterforge to finish processing. Now we have a rose layer with a painterly effect. We are going to add a background now. For the background, I also made a filter. Add an empty layer as a background. And with that layer selected, go again up into the menu, Filter, Filterforge. My background filter has several options, from a grunge style to dots, stripes, and square diamond patterns. Of course, you can choose any color you prefer. I play with the filter until I get the results I like. Always make sure the seamless styling option is checked. And when done, press Accept. With adjustment layers, I match the color to the rose layer. Once that is done, make the appropriate layers visible. And merge them into a new layer with Shift, Ctrl, Alt, E. Duplicate the layer with Ctrl J and check if it's still seamless with the offset option. If you don't see any bad seams, the tile is ready. There is one more thing you can add, and that is a fabric texture overlay. I made 11 seamless fabric overlays, each with different knits. And all can be defined as a pattern and filled on a top layer with a linear light as the layer mode, for example, or one of the other layer modes to give a fabric feel. I prefer to add a fabric overlay onto the actual UV texture of the clothing instead of baking it into the pattern itself. That way you keep more scaling flexibility, and I can use it as a separate bump map as well. The entire kit of 11 flower tiles and 11 fabric overlays is licensed for personal as well as commercial use, and in the pack I also include the artistic filter and the background filter. The set is available for download for my Patreon family as the 2D 3D nibble of September. You are very welcome to become my patron. Details you can find on patreon.com/biscuits3d, and I will put a link in the description. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you, and thank you for watching.